Hey guys, it's Nikki. I just started my eyebrows, that's why they look uneven, because I started one but I haven't started the other one. I'm using my angled brush and my brow bar that came in my BoxyCharm. This is my BH Cosmetics angled brush. This isn't live. I wanted to start doing some videos that are not live, and I want to start talking to you guys some more about relationships. Because people talk to me about their relationships a lot. But I think if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, you can PM me, you can comment on the videos, whatever, and I'll talk about them in my next video. But for that to work, I think I have to tell you guys a little bit about me. Otherwise, who is this chick? Why would I ask her anything, right? Why would I want to hear anything she has to say? Okay. I was married for 10 years. Bobby and I were together for 12 years. We were married for 10. We were very, very close. Very, very happy together and very, very close. We never fought. We never argued. We never got sick of each other's company. We were the dream. We were what everybody wants. What everybody wants to be, what everybody hopes they can find. Unfortunately, he had progressive MS, and he was progressively more and more paralyzed, and I was his caretaker. He passed away. After that, of course, I didn't think I was ever going to find anybody else again, of course. And if I did, it wasn't going to be like that. I thought that's not normal. That relationship that we had, really close and really happy and no arguments, that doesn't really happen. That people don't get that. Since I got it once, I thought there was no way, no possible way that was going to happen again. It was a fluke, right? Wrong. Because I'm now engaged, and my fiance and I are pretty much the same. We never fight. We don't get sick of each other's company. We get along really, really well. So I realize that it's not a fluke. It's now that doesn't mean everything's perfect. That doesn't mean that we, haven't had some things that we've had to talk out, but that's the thing. We talked it out. That's what you have to do. I think too many people, if your significant other, your partner, your husband, wife, boyfriend, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, if they have something, if they say to you, you seem grouchy, you've been grouchy, why are you biting my head off, whatever, your immediate reaction is to get defensive, right? Mine is, what are you talking about? Leave me alone. No, I'm not. Especially, I have a thing about, I hate being told that I'm grouchy, or that I'm irritated, or that I'm mad. Like, no, I wasn't, but now I am, If you're going to tell me repeatedly that I'm grouchy, I wasn't, but, I'm getting there. But I realize that instead of jumping to that immediate reaction and being irritated, what you have to do is take a second and think, what am I doing to make him think that to make him think that I'm grouchy? Why does he think that? What am I doing differently? At first, when my fiance would say something like that, that I was grouchy, or ask me what was wrong, or, whatever, I would get irritated, and I'd be like, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm fine. Leave me alone. But my fiance has a bachelor's degree in psychology. He knows what he's talking about. He's not stupid. He's highly intelligent and highly educated. So I had to stop and think, why does he think I'm grouchy? What am I doing differently? And at first I didn't realize it. I didn't know I didn't think I was doing anything differently. But it was times that I was stressed out about something, or, I was trying not to show him, because he doesn't think that I should ever be stressed out. He thinks that his job is to handle the stress for me, so that I don't have to be stressed out, and so that I don't worry about it. So if something bothered me, if I was stressed out about something, I didn't want him to know it. I was trying to hide it from him. That doesn't work. You can't hide something from somebody you're around all the time. You just can't. If they don't notice, then something is seriously wrong. They don't know you that well, or something's wrong in your relationship, or they're distracted because they've got something on their mind. But he noticed. Of course he noticed. So now I don't try to hide. I tell him I'm stressed. If I'm sorry, I'm being grumpy, or I'm being short, or whatever, And, anytime that there has been, that either one of us has thought that there was an issue, that there might be something wrong, that there was something we needed to talk about, we did just that. We talked about it. And that's all it took. But the thing with that is, you have to be willing to listen. You can't jump to being irritated or being defensive or anything like that. You have to actually listen to what your partner is saying, why they're saying what they're saying. If they're talking to you because they want to fix it. If they didn't care, you wouldn't even be having the conversation. So you have to be willing to listen, and you have to be willing to try. If something needs to change, if you need to do something differently, you have to try. You have to try to make it different. Another thing that I don't understand about people in relationships is keeping things from each other. Even small things, even little things. Doing things that, you don't want your boyfriend or your husband or your girlfriend or your wife or whatever to know about. If there's something that you are hiding, you're hiding it because you know that it would upset them. If you're doing something you know would upset the person you love, you shouldn't be doing it. And if you are, there's a problem somewhere that needs to be addressed. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing as if you're, if you're looking at somebody else and thinking that person, you're thinking about talking to this person or whatever. I mean, of course I'm not saying you're not going to look at anybody and think anybody else is good looking. You're not, you don't just suddenly become blind like you can't see anybody else anymore. But it should never ever cross your mind that you want to talk to another person in any kind of romantic way, because if it does, there's something going on either with your relationship or with you that you need to address. You need to figure out what the problem is. Because if you're happy with the person that you're with, you don't see anybody else like that. It never ever occurs to you to even think about risking what you have. Now, our relationship is perfect, but not everybody in our lives was okay with that. When my first husband, when I met him, my first husband, Bobby, he'd been gone less than a year when we met. When we started getting serious within, fairly quick, we started getting pretty serious. And not a lot of people were happy with that idea. I had people, my family and Bobby's family, who were not happy with that idea. But see, the thing is, when Bobby was sick, he knew he was dying. I'm going to go in with a little bit of, this is like really super cheap eyeshadow primer. I don't even know where it came from. It came in some gift set, I think, but I like it because it's got a good texture. It's not drying, it doesn't crease, but it doesn't add moisture either to my eyeshadow, to my eyelids, and mess up my eyeshadow either. So it's pretty good for that. Anyway, I had family members and, Bobby's family members who were not okay with me being with somebody else. But Bobby knew that he was dying for a long time. He was actively dying for probably 2 years. We discussed it a lot. I didn't think I would want to be with anybody else. Not for a long time, if ever, but he did. He knew I would. He wanted me to be able to find somebody and move on and be happy and get remarried and, be happy again. And he told everybody that. He told his family that. He told his friends. He told my family. Everybody knew that. But, that of course, everybody said, of course, yes, of course, she deserves that. Because I took care of him by myself. Completely alone by myself for years. And when I say I took care of him, he was progressively more paralyzed. Paralyzed from the waist down first, and then from the chest down. So when I say I took care of him, I mean that in the most literal sense of the word. I did everything alone. He didn't have a home health nurse. He didn't have a caretaker. It was just me. So of course everybody would say, yeah, she deserves that, of course. But when it actually happened, it was a little bit different. I'm going to use the first thing that I usually do when I do my eyeshadow is I always go in with some highlight, my favorite highlight, usually right under my brow bone. This is the Zealous Glitter highlight in shade Frozen, and a big fluffy BH Cosmetics blending brush. I like to do this. It gives me kind of a good transition shade, a good base to help blend everything out. And this is the prettiest highlighter I have ever seen or used. I absolutely love it. How pretty that is. It's like a shimmery white. It's so pretty. It's a really fine shimmer without being glitter. It's not glitter. I absolutely love it. Isn't that pretty? Okay, but, yeah, so I had people who thought that it was, he was just some, whatever, just trying to take advantage of some grieving widow, but those people, they were never the people who had met him. It was only people who'd never met him. So, really not quite fair, I would think. I don't know what kind of eyeshadow look I'm doing, guys. I have no idea. But I'm going to start with the BH Cosmetics Aurora Lights palette. This is my newest one, so this is the one I'm using. Well, this and my glitter. I've got my glitter, my pressed glitter palette that I'm going to use too. But I always start with this because this is my newest one. So, of course, I'm going to use my newest one. Okay. It's got a lot of pretty colors in it. Let's see. They're all baked shimmers. Let's see. What do I want to do, guys? I don't know. Let's go with let's do these bronze oranges here and golds. See how that goes. So I'll start with this, not this brush. I'm going to use a different brush. Use a slightly smaller brush. I'm going to go with this smaller blending brush, and I'm going to go in sparkling right here. This one. And I'm just going to put it in my socket right there in the crease. Just the crease. Well, mostly just the crease. We'll go a little bit higher. But I always start at the outside because that's where I want the most color, is right here in the outer corner. Where my eyes are so hooded, I don't want to go too far below. I don't want color down here because I don't want my eyes to look droopy. I want them to look kind of lifted. So I want to try to keep as much color as all the color pretty much above, my lower lash line. And I want to start right here in the outer corner and blend in. That way I have the most color payoff right here in this outer corner. But of course I still want to blend it in toward the Anyway, yeah, so I had people who were just not happy that I had somebody. And so we had to deal with that. We had to deal with members of my family not necessarily being happy with me having anybody, with me and him being together. And these were people that had never met him, but they didn't want to. He also had, there was a certain member of his family that didn't want him to have anything to do with me either. Again, this person never met me, but it didn't matter. It wasn't about me. So, it doesn't matter how good your relationship is, how perfect your relationship is. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't think you should be together, who doesn't want you together for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know what it is, but some people are just control freaks. Like, in the case of his family member, it was a control thing. That's all it was. I think with some people, I think there were certain people who, with me, when they saw me moving on and falling in love with somebody else and being happy with somebody else, they thought if it was possible for me to move on and to be with somebody else and be happy, then that must mean that I didn't really love Bobby like everybody thought. That couldn't have been real, right? Of course, that wasn't true. It was just, he was gone. I had to move on. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what he wanted me to do. That's what I did. But the more I think about it, the more I thought about it, I realized I don't think that they really were thinking that way. I think it was more about if they would think, I think that they were thinking that if they were in my shoes, what would it be like in my shoes? If they, loved somebody, if they had such a happy marriage that like I had, and then their husband or their wife passed away, they wouldn't be able to move on like I did. They wouldn't be able to. So in their eyes, it couldn't have been real. Couldn't have been right. Because if it was, they would have to admit that I was actually a lot stronger than they were. And nobody wants to think about that. Nobody wants to admit that. So something had to be wrong. It couldn't be real. Something has to be wrong. It can't really be what it looks like. Fine, whatever. Now, I have completely cut myself off from any kind of negativity. If every time you talk to me you want to argue, or you want to criticize, or anything, if it's all negativity, if you're always bringing drama, I'm not even answering the phone. I don't need it. It's just not worth it. And that's okay. You can do that too. It doesn't matter if they're family. You can tell them, I love you, but until we can talk without it being drama, I'm not going to talk to you. You have to deal with your peace of mind, your environment, your sanity, and your well-being first. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else. So it's perfectly okay to distance yourself from people if it's all negative. And you shouldn't feel guilty about it. They don't, I promise you. Okay, I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to wipe it off, of course, and get that out. Obviously, I just wipe the brushes off and use the same one, but you clean them after use, of course. I don't know how long this video can be. I'm in 19 minutes right now, so, I might stop for a little bit and come back. Break it up into 2 parts. That way, But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video and share it, and I'll continue in part 2. And if you have any questions you want me to answer or anything you want me to talk about, comment on this video or message me and I will talk about it.